This episode contains explicit language, so not for younger listeners or those without a sense of humour. So remember to grab your headphones for the paranormal investigation episodes. And you also get to listen to this voice super close to your ear. So buckle up, grab a drink, relax, enjoy. Welcome back to Aussie Afterlife. This is episode 47 and another Campfire Tales episode. And this is one of my amazing listeners, Michelle, who was kind enough to reach out to me, and we spoke today over Zoom, and it was really interesting. It was one of the coolest conversations I've had in like such a long time. I'm very, very appreciative. So I hope you guys enjoy. She's got some amazing stories to share of her own, but also her mother's as well. So her mother hopefully will be listening to this episode and hopefully really thinking that she's done it justice, and hopefully I do this episode justice, because it was really lovely to hear how excited Michelle's mother was to know that her stories will finally be heard and her voice in somewhat way will be able to get out there. So, and that's what I love to do, love to bump up the old volume on people's, stories, voices, experiences, because everyone's experience is completely 100% valid, and I just love hearing it. So, and there's some really nice stories here, especially about loved ones, and yeah, so it'll be a really cool, fun episode, I reckon. So, to kick it off, where to start? The funny shit. Well, this actually isn't even me, all right? So I go to the same, if I want to go and get a couple of gins, I'll go to the same Liquorland, right? Or because it's like right next door, the supermarket that I go to, because I'm real weird. And I always go to the same supermarket because I know exactly where everything is in every aisle, so I'm less likely to forget shit. Otherwise, if I go into a brand new one, I'm like, I get so overwhelmed. I'm like, what the fuck am I even in here for? And I end up getting all this irrelevant shit that I didn't want, and then walking out with, like lettuce or something that I actually went in there for. But yeah, so I went to this, we go in this little Liquorland, right? There's multiple dudes that work in there. They all know me, like, yeah, hey. I'm like, yeah, good. But there's this one guy, right? This one guy. I'm like, okay, I know I should be like flattered by this, but it's frustrating. The first time's cute. The second time, I'm like, you're just starting to piss me off. So like, I'll be turning 37 in September, really soon, right? So I'm clearly not anywhere near 18. I even have tattoos. I've got my car keys. He sees me pull up in my car. I've worn my, my nursing stuff. Clearly I'm not 17 years old. And I'm not. I don't look under 25, some people think that I do, then that's cool, but I highly doubt it. Every time I go in there, this guy's like, he'll get right to the point. He's like, oh, you had a good day? I'm like, yeah, it's good. And he's like, oh, yeah, so just these ones? I'm like, yeah. He's like, flybys? And I'm like, nah, no flybys. And he's like, can I see some ID? And I'm like, oh, okay. So this is like the first one. As I said, probably 2 times. I was like, yes. I said, we have done this before. And he's like, oh, yeah. Well, now I've asked. I can't like unask. And I'm like, okay. So he actually made me stand there once and then like download the Vic Roads app so I can get a digital ID, because I just don't carry it with me. Like, or it might be in my handbag, which I might not have brought. I might have just got my car keys and my phone, whatever. Anyway, so didn't see him for a bit, and I've since had a hair colour changed. This is what I'm putting it down to. I have a funny feeling it's got nothing to do with that at all. I come in there. Oh, so I went in there once earlier on. I got a couple of gins, and then one of my friends that coming over was like, oh, look, all right, we'll go grab some more, that old chestnut kind of thing. So he drove up there, and this bloke had already asked me for ID, like literally probably about 6 hours prior to this. We get there, and he's like, does the whole thing, like, you got flybys? And we're like, no. And he's like, do you have any ID? And I'm like, we just did this. We just went through this 6 hours ago. And he's like, oh, yeah, true. Anyway, so I hadn't gone back in there for a bit. Went in there probably a couple of days ago. Fucking does it to me again. And I looked at him and I was like, how many times do we have to go through this? And he's like, oh, yeah, true, sorry. And I'm like, you're fucking sorry. I was like, you're either messing with me because you know how much it irritates me, because, and I'm not one of these people, I'm not saying like, I'm memorable or whatever, but um, even as I speak, people are going to know, oh, I've seen that girl somewhere. I know that voice. She's just, I'm not saying I'm this memorable, but yeah, whatever. I could be quite memorable. All right. I've rarely ever have anyone forget who I am or what I've done, which is really good, but also very frustrating if you've made mistakes. But so this guy, he does it to me again the other day. And I looked at him like, mate, I was like, come on. He's like, yeah, true. Sorry. And I had a funny thought. I was like, are you just trying to like remember my details and where I live? And like, does that sound paranoid? Like, are we in this day and age where I'm kind of like, because he's either messing with me and finds it completely humorous, or he legit just has no idea, kind of like in Seinfeld, episode Seinfeld, where that guy keeps forgetting Elaine. And then, she's like, how could you not remember me? We've met like 5 times. Unless it's like that. Or he's just like, all right, now I've got her name, I've memorized her date of birth, and now I know her address. So, fuck. Anyway, I'm hoping, well, actually, I don't know which is worse, to be not memorable or be stalked. No, I'm just joking. But yeah. So the one funny thing. So another funny thing you guys might have seen on my Instagram yesterday, my mum came over and helped me. We literally swapped bedrooms. So my son's now got a bigger bedroom, and now I have my own space to do my podcast. I'm not just stuck in my bedroom constantly. I have now my own, as I call it, my Sam Nook. And it's pretty fucking sick. I love it. I've very proud of myself. I got really hyper fixated, and we did Mason's room. We hadn't started this one. So everyone had left, like mum had left, and I'm like, let's move some furniture. So like I've got this gigantic pink like chase, this vintage chase that was my grandmother's. I managed to get that fucker, it's massive, out of my bedroom, across the hall to this other little, now my new little nook room. But, only one minor damage. I sort of put a slight dent in the wall, but that's okay. But we can fix that. But I did the whole thing myself. Moved everything in here, did everything. So I'm just like, yeah, power move. But anyway, it's probably enough of that bullshit. But yes, it's been an interesting week, as every week is interesting. Interesting, but good. Really good. I'm feeling great. Very lucky, very happy in my life. And yeah, if someone asks me for ID, I shouldn't get too fucking precious about it, should I? Because there will be a day that will come. There will be a last time where anyone ever asks me for ID. There'll be a last time. And I'm really hoping that that guy, if he does it again, I'm like, going to be like, you're going to get a complaint in a minute. Or I'll just staple it to my forehead when I go in there. All right, let's kick it off with my session, Campfire Tales. Gorgeous chat with Michelle, one of my amazing, beautiful listeners who has some crazy, cool, amazing, beautiful stories. So grab a drink, relax, and enjoy. Welcome, Michelle. I'd just like to say a massive thank you again. And I'm really looking forward to hearing some of the most memorable spiritual and paranormal experiences that you've had, and also some that your mother's experienced as well. So it's been an absolute privilege, and thank you. I really, really, really hope the listeners enjoy these because, yeah, it's a great conversation. So the stage and the campfire and the microphone is yours.
My name is Michelle. I've been very fortunate in life with regards to growing up with a family who are quite spiritual and have a really strong belief in the paranormal, the afterlife, psychic gifts, and mediumship, etc. So I'm no stranger to hearing stories with regards to the paranormal, or when my parents, had their own intuition, come into play to forewarn them about something happening or someone potentially passing away, etc. So, as I said before, I've been quite fortunate to, grow up in a family. So my parents, growing up in Malta, had many experiences themselves, including my grandparents. So growing up, I would always be told of many ghost stories and intuition and mediumship and type of scenarios. that would occur to them. So growing up, being told all these stories has always made me feel very comfortable with my own gifts. And I definitely started to notice from a young age that I do have some gifts myself. Um, so mainly for me growing up and my gifts, it was vivid dreaming. And so that's still the case. I'm a big vivid dreamer. I tend to remember my dreams every night. And there are many dreams that I remember from a young age to now. And that's why I believe that vivid dreaming, although some dreamings might not mean anything in particular, but a lot of them are, I guess, connections from the other side. Whether it's it could be a spirit in a particular location or a past loved one, etc. So um, as I grew older, I was fortunate to have friends who were interested in tarot readings, coffee cup readings. So I always had either a friend, who'd have a grandma or a mother that would read our coffee cups, and that continued to pique my interest in psychic gifts and the paranormal and all that. And yeah, just would going with friends to get palm readings, etc. So um, with as well as with ghost stories, my parents would always continue to tell us those stories growing up into our teens, etc. And I would also tell my friends those stories. Some would freak out, some would find them really interesting. In my early 20s, I purchased myself a deck of tarot cards, the Rider-Waite tarot cards. I just went into a shop and yeah, they sort of called out to me and I bought them. I did not use them straight away. 7 years later, I had a reading by a reader, and she mentioned to me that she does tarot card training. And I decided to take those training. And as it happens, she was using the Rider-Waite tarot cards. So it was perfect that I had purchased them a few years ago. And then from then onwards, I would do readings for myself and family and friends. A few years ago, I finally decided to publish a page on Facebook where, I can put posts up there and do readings, and hopefully eventually in time I can do more professional readings, through my page, etc. And that, with having, working full time and having a young child, life tends to get in the way, but I always make sure that I am connected to my spiritual gifts, whether it's, talking with my mum or my friends, doing card readings, following pages, reading, listening to podcasts, taking that time to meditate, speaking to my guides, etc. So, and I think through all these practices, experiences, and stories, it's made me really connected to my gifts as well as the other side. So all the stories and the information that I have been told, I guess, has been working to shape me into, exploring my gifts and sharing my gifts as well with other people. And it doesn't always necessarily mean, I'm doing a tarot reading. There were times when, I'd be conversing with a friend through email, etc., and they might just have a question about life, and I'd just give them advice, and, like I'm just replying and writing back, and all of a sudden I would have written them a 4-page email, and I'd think, where did all this information come from? So as I've grown older, I thought, wow, that is my intuition, because
Wait. Okay, we're breaking out just for 2 seconds. Michelle and I were having the most weird, most random bloody, oh my God, internet issues. Like she would just block up. Oh, but it was hilarious. But I think I've just captured a voice. So let me just play this because remember, I am muted and Michelle was alone in that room. I'll play this for you a couple more times and then we'll continue.
Because I, I, I
I don't know. You be the judge, but I don't remember anyone going at all. So let's continue.
guess being an empath as well, I can tend to connect to people and just sort of know what they're going through without telling me. And if they do want to share their stories, which I find that a lot, people tend to be drawn to me to speak about themselves, is I find that when I'm giving them advice or guidance, it tends to, I don't know where it comes from, but I guess it comes from my higher self. And and I can just speak to them and guide them and they can take whatever they like from it, I guess. I've grown to learn that, it's, I guess, my guides, my intuition that is helping me to guide people. So at the end of the day, with most of us that do have these gifts, the intention is, to stay, as well as to stay grounded, but we know that there's something else more than us out there. And if we can help someone else, whether it's through a reading, advice, that's all we're here to do. And, that makes me truly happy. I'm going to start now to get into some stories that my parents have told me, or that I've experienced myself. So with my mother, she was able to see the other side from a very, very young age. This first story happened when she was a teenager. So her mother would send her off to go to her own mother's house, so my mum's grandmother's house, every week to help her grandma to clean the house, which was really nice to do. Now, this particular property, as you entered through the door, there was a staircase facing you. So my mum would need to climb these stairs to enter into the room, and as well as the main house to start doing the cleaning. Now, with my mum, she would do her cleaning. She might be there for a few hours, speak to my grandma, etc. Every time she would find herself ready to leave the property, so she would need to go down those stairs. Now, being a very, very old building, so I'm talking post-war now, they had no railings on the stairs or anything like that. So for my mum to support herself, she would just need to touch the side of the wall to start walking down the steps. Now, every time she would do this, she would automatically feel something weird within her and find herself falling back to the bottom of the stairs. So there was a lot of stairs. There was probably about 10, 12 steps, should I say. So she would always find herself at the bottom of the stairs, but not standing. She would actually be lying down at the bottom of the stairs with that feeling as if she's been pushed, but she doesn't know how she got there. So it would happen on a weekly occurrence. And the strange thing is if my grandmother was next to her or saying goodbye as she was leaving, it would not happen. Or there were times she'd go there to do the cleaning with her sister, it would not happen. And her sister used to make fun of her to say, oh, you're imagining things. And my mum would be, no, I'm serious. Every time I go down these stairs on my own, I'm finding myself at the bottom as if someone unseen had pushed me. And there's definitely no one around because it's only my grandma. My grandma was living there and her grandma's living there and it's her house. So it's not like, she could tell if someone was really there behind her, pushing her, but she would see nothing. It was all within feeling. And she would feel like as if she'd been hurt, but there'd be no physical, I guess, bruising or nothing broken, nothing serious. She would just leave as if, fallen, I know this happened and I'm sore. So this would happen until, her grandmother would pass away. And unfortunately, back then, they weren't as inquisitive and as we are these days to start looking into the history of the property, maybe potentially someone had fallen there, etc. But it would always happen to her. She'd be on her own, and she would not know how it would have happened.
Yeah, cool. I do have a couple of I've written a couple of notes. Can you hear me? Oh, I wonder if it's
I
broken.
can. I'm just worried now if we're starting to talk, you're going to break up and I'm not going to be able to answer you.
I'll say one. I'll just say a couple. Yeah, because I
So,
wrote a few things down. Is that clear? Yeah, cool. Yeah, I wrote a
yes,
few things down. Yeah, I reckon that she was. Yeah, I was going to ask, like, yeah, did she get injured? And you said that she was sore, but there was no physical. So she'd sort of lose time. So she'd start at the
yes,
top of the top of the stairs and then lose time and already be on her back.
yep, yep,
Yeah, I reckon she's
yep.
like reliving
So,
something that had happened. Like that seems. Yeah, that's bizarre, isn't it? Holy hell.
it is very bizarre, especially when you can't prove it.
Yeah,
There's no physical, I guess, bruising or breakage. I mean, thankfully, but for her, and this is how she would say it too, but how do you prove it? And we have spoken about this story many times, and she herself as well thinks that unless it was some form of entity that liked to play tricks on people, but it was only her, so it wouldn't happen to a grandmother or her sister. So I guess maybe mum being quite gifted psychic and medium herself. Not that she was practicing or has been practicing, it's just a natural everyday thing for her. Even though I know my grandfather would tell stories. So my grandfather, her father was quite gifted as well. But in those days, especially post-war, you're not going to have people, trying to get more training and understanding. It was just literally a way of life for them.
yeah. And I'm sure people probably would have tried to like lock you up in an asylum probably back then. If you even saw, unless you spoke it,
Probably, yes.
but if you talked about it to anybody else, they might be like, that's witchcraft. Or, there's all these different times where people are just like, hell no, we're not interested.
100%.
Yeah. So especially with men too, men would
100%.
have spoken
And
about it.
because, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And mum lost her mother quite young, so she doesn't really remember sort of having these conversations with her mother, which is my grandmother. But her father, my grandfather, was quite gifted, so at least mum had that connection with someone to talk about the stories. But again, being post-war, it's not like the parents would show like feelings about that. It's like, oh, telling you was like a bedtime story, and that was it. There was no exploration or
Yeah.
investigation. So, but at least she had that. And, as I said earlier in the podcast, because my mum had that and my dad had gifts as well, at least with my growing up, I was able to feel comfortable with my own gifts. But again, back then, I wouldn't be telling anyone anyway. It's only as I've gotten older, that I started to share my stories.
Oh, that's cool. That's really nice that she had someone to talk to about it and share it with, because like it'd be really lonely if you would sit there not even, not that you would go too much into depth, but at least you knew that it wasn't just you. Like, it would be very lonely otherwise, I would imagine. Like, and
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So no, definitely. It wasn't just her, and I'm glad that her family was quite open about their experiences, which I've got some to tell now. So that's
awesome.
good.
All right. I'll remute and off you go. Take it away.
Thank you. My mother's auntie was living with her sister in a flat in Malta. This was during World War II. My mother's auntie woke up in the middle of the night and saw a soldier who was sitting down next to a vanity in her room. Now, my mother's auntie was so scared after seeing this soldier that both her and her sister moved out. They were like, no, can't handle this, can't handle seeing someone in the room. So again, my mum's aunt, was quite gifted herself. Now, as it happened, a week later, after my mother's auntie and her sister had actually moved out of the apartment block, it was actually bombed. So if they had not actually moved out, they would have both potentially died. And not long after that, my mother's auntie found out that there was a soldier living in her apartment. He was quite young and he had gotten some food poisoning from a can of fish that he would have been eating. And yeah, he would have passed away there. So I've always found that quite interesting because it's not just seeing the other side, it's an actual warning that saved my mother's auntie and her sister's life. When my mother was about 12 years old, she woke up in the morning and she had the urge to look under her bed. She had seen a woman dressed in brown lying under her bed in a sleep-like position. This lady looked like she was from the 18th century. And my mum, although was a bit concerned, she somehow went back to sleep after seeing this woman. Now, when she woke up in the morning, she saw the same woman standing next to her younger brother's crib, which was in the same room. Now, back then, all kids were cramped in one room, being small houses, post-war, etc. Now, when my mum saw this lady next to her baby brother's crib, she was actually throwing leaves onto her baby brother, which my mum thought was quite odd. Her baby brother was actually sleeping in the cot. Now, my mum did not recognise this lady, and 1 week later, her brother fell quite ill and he was hospitalised. Now, at this time, he actually nearly died, but thankfully he recovered and survived. My mum truly believes that the lady appeared as a warning sign that was for her brother, who was potentially going to be very sick and almost died. So my mum remembers this story quite vividly, and we've spoken about it quite a lot as well. As I mentioned earlier, my grandfather, so my mum's father, was quite gifted as well and saw the other side quite regularly. Now, post-World War II, my grandfather was walking down a main street in Malta, and a lady had stopped him and asked him, "Emmanuel, do you have a light for my cigarette?" After he lit his cigarette, they parted ways, and a few moments later, my grandfather recognised this woman and was 100% sure that she had died in World War II. So I've always found that quite fascinating as well. When I was 3 years old, we actually lived in Malta, and this was back in the 80s, mind you, and we had gone down there from Australia at the time. Now, when we had gone down there, my mum had lost her father in October that year, and in November she gave birth to my brother. So she had a lot going on, losing her father and having my brother. Now, at the time, she had a breakdown and postnatal depressions. Not that the doctors would have known what that was back then. But, my mum had gone through a really hard time and became a shadow of herself, almost very gaunt-like looking, looking at her photos from that. So one night, my mum had woken up at 2 a.m. and she saw her father standing in the doorway. At this point, he was past. And he said to her, Marianne, my mum's name, you must go back to Australia and do not stay here. Thankfully, she listened to him, and the year later, we had come back to Australia. Mum says to this day that if she stayed in Malta, she may have not survived, as she had become very sick with a combination of losing her father, having a breakdown, and really having bad depression due to her postnatal symptoms. So that's a story that will stick with me for the rest of my life because, yeah, just to be able to see your father not long after he has passed, telling you you need to go, you need to leave and save your life is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too. It's just so they're like my as you know you've listened to my podcast. They're my favorite type of stories, really. And like father still looking after his girl. You know, it's just death get in the way, that kind of thing. So, I'm so sorry to hear that about your mum though. Like it's just sometimes all the things can happen just at once, and it's just too much, and your body just can't, your brain can't. You know, it's just so.
Definitely. And, we're so fortunate in this day and time just to have the internet and books and a lot of people who understand and know what we go through after having a child. And, although some of us are blessed not to go through postnatal depression, but at least those who are, thankfully, most people can recognize the symptoms and get help.
Most definitely, and it's something that's spoken about a lot now, which is really great. And even maternal child health nurses always do screening for it. Like it's a constant sort of, it's definitely a talking point, which is really, really important. And because a lot of the time, yeah,
definitely
not even realize that that's what's going on. You might just feel really flat and really, really bad, but then you got like lack of sleep and everything like that. So now it's great. It's spoken about so much now, and yeah, it's not shameful, which is amazing. So, but it would have been really hard back in those days.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, it's true. And I guess, like, I remember when I thank you, yeah, because I even remember when I had my son being quite conscious that if I started to feel that way, to let my husband know and to go get help, speak to the doctor and get the support that I need. And I think what it is as well, it's quite common that with people who are empaths, we tend to get depression as well. Now, whether it's in our DNA or whether we're picking up energy from other people. So, I had to learn the hard way as well. I didn't know what an empath was till probably my 30s, and I didn't know that I was one. And my mum is one as well. But again, like, she would tell us these stories as we're growing up and say, oh, you've got a sore knee. I'm feeling that. And we would laugh at her like, well, what's wrong with you? What do you mean you're feeling the same, or it could be, or excuse the term, your monthly pain? She goes, I'm feeling it. And now we know that, you've got all different empaths, whether they're picking up emotion or your pain or, so even now we're still learning a lot, even though we know a lot or we think we do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I had no idea what an empath was either. And then, I have to like check myself that before I whatever. But yeah, I have to check myself, be like, hang on, is this actually my emotions that I'm feeling
Yes.
right now, or am I carrying something unnecessary? And if I even question that, I could tell it's mine if it's someone else's because it goes. It'll just be like, yeah, no. And then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, I feel a bit better now. Like it's like even just recognizing, hang on, is this something that's, especially if it comes out of nowhere and you've had like a weird, awkward conversation with someone, you're like, oh, I don't feel great. Just to sort of check in with you. So I'm go, hang on, should I be carrying this right now? Or is this my emotions or is this
Absolutely.
So yeah. Yeah, I had to learn the hard way too, because you can sit there and go, why do I feel so shit today? Like, I'm like, oh God, I had that horrible conversation yesterday with that person. It was just, and you sort of go, oh, hang on. Not that you can't feel crap about it's like a situation, but it's like extra. So it's extra a little bit of,
yeah.
That makes sense.
It's absolutely. And I think it's not just conversations as well. So, I've had instances where I've had friends who have said to me, oh, you know, I had a dream of you last night, and, you know, when I woke up in the morning, I felt so much better about myself. And, you know, I've been feeling down lately, but after having that dream of you, I feel alive again. And I'd be like, oh, great. You know, if I'm helping you in your dreams, that's wonderful. But then the week or two later, I'd be really sick. And it's almost like, I don't know, obviously, if I've helped someone and I'm getting sick or situation before.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd like to think that I'm helping people, but I don't want to be unwell after. But it could be that I've just taken whatever they've had. And yeah, I had to, because I didn't know how to release it, it manifested within myself.
Yeah, definitely. And like sort of people taking energy and things like that without you sort of realizing. And because if you are a bit of a being, sort of you can attract that sort of thing. Like, and you've got the right intentions, and yeah, it's great to help as well. Like, of course you want to help people, but yeah, you also don't want to be like, you're like, great, now I'm dead. Like, I feel dead for 2 weeks. Like, it's just like, that's not, you're like, I'm happy you feel good, but like, so yeah, even like sort of trying to even identify that.
Yeah.
And yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Have you got anything else?
I do.
Oh yeah, all right. Take it away.
Got more stories, so we can
go for it.
Thank you. Now, as I mentioned earlier with the last story, you know, that was definitely my grandfather looking after my mum. And although that happened over 40 years ago, you know, thankfully, my grandfather is still there to help my mum. So a few years ago, she had put on something on the stove. I think it may have been a soup or whatnot. And she decided at the time she was just going to go sit down on the couch just while the soup is cooking. And as we all know, soup can take a good hour before you start adding your, you know, after you've added the meat or the chicken. Now, my mum had accidentally fallen asleep. And it must have been for a few hours, according to her, because all of a sudden she had heard her dad, while she was sleeping, calling her Marianne. And Mum had woken up with the biggest fright, going, oh no, I've got the soup on the stove. And by the point she had got to it, it had dried out. So if he hadn't woken her, it would have caught on fire. And once again, you know, my grandfather had helped her, you know, from potentially, being caught in a fire and passing too. So I've always thought that was quite an amazing story, and an experience that has happened to her. And something similar had happened to me as well. Now, as I mentioned, you know, my mum thankfully is still with us, and this probably happened a good 20 years ago when I was on a night out with a friend who had recently come from overseas and wasn't a driver. So I would go and pick her up. Now, she lived on the other side of town, so go leave from my place, drive half an hour, pick her up, would go to the city, go out for a night, whatever. I'd go home, I'd go back to drop her off, and then I would drive myself home, you know, say it'd be 3 o'clock in the morning, half an hour drive. Now, you know, I've always been responsible, so, you know, as a driver, you know, I wouldn't have any more than 2 drinks, which will keep me under the limit, etc. So, you know, not being under any influence while I'm driving. And one night, I was driving home on the freeway, and I must have fallen asleep, because the next minute I heard my mum call me, Michelle, and I've woken up and I'm still driving on the road. Now, you know, whether it was my mum helping me, and even though she's alive, whether it's just her spirit helping me, or whether it was, you know, one of my guides just sounding like my mum to wake me up. So, yeah, I don't know how long I was out. Could have been a minute, could have been 5, but I don't think it would have been 5 because I was still on the road and hadn't veered off or anything. But yeah, if I hadn't heard my mum and woken me up, I could have been in a serious accident, which was quite, I was very thankful to be looked after then.
Oh, 100%. Like I was saying, I feel like you guys are like cats. You've got like so many lives. Like I love it. It's like it's great. It's so cool. And it could have even been like your grandmother, your great grandmother that might have just sounded like your mum as well, because but God, you guys are like invincible. I love this. This is I hope that happens to me.
Yeah.
I almost my sausage rolls were in the oven last night.
I hope so.
Yeah. I had this weird feeling. I was like, hang on. I was like, oh, sausage rolls in the oven. So I ran down and I'm like, oh, thank God, they're just perfect. If I would have left them, probably would have set fire to them. So I should be enjoying my room. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And look, it happens. It happens to us so easily. And sometimes, you could just nod off. And Mum wasn't in the bed. She was just in the couch, watching TV. And I mean, I do that so much because, we love our soup. So I'm not going to sit there and stare at my soup for an hour or two. So it's going to happen. And it's funny, you touched on cats and lives, and my mum, myself, we just absolutely love cats. And
oh, good. I think you just, oh no, you do. Yeah, I've got a cat behind my screen at the moment. She's driving me insane. So if you see a little furry thing, that's her.
I saw her already. Don't worry.
I love this. Literally, she is so intrigued in what is going. Can you puss? Oh yeah, I love her. She's my little angel, but yeah, she's naughty.
Oh, she's beautiful.
She's my little.
Well, look, my mum,
spirit cat. She's gorgeous. She's a blessing. She was found in an esky. At like 6 weeks old, on a hot summer day, her and her brother were just dumped on the side of a road. So she's definitely a miracle cat.
That's so sad.
Yeah, so
100%.
She's found. She's just been the best thing ever, really. So she's yeah. Now this thing.
I'm so glad you've rescued her.
Yeah. Oh well, well, luckily enough, there was actually a couple of kids that found, or young people, I should say, they weren't kids. That were like, oh, esky, cool, let's grab it. And they found the cats in there. They were alive, and it was like a 38-degree day or something like that. So it could have been another hour.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like it was. So they brought, and we were, because I was lucky enough to be able to take her. So yeah, so she's been the best thing ever.
Oh, that is fantastic. And cats are very spiritual as well. So my mum grew up with cats, and so did I when I was living at home. I'm desperately trying to get one now, but I don't think I can convince hubby. But yeah, in dogs as well, but cats are very connected to the spirit world as well. So they're very spiritual. So it's no surprise that, people like ourselves are quite drawn to cats.
Yeah, especially, and the older I've gotten, like now she's gnawing at the door. She's rolling around in the back. She's so cute. I can't even. You want to be let out? I'll let you out in a sec. I also have a tendency to talk over the top of people by accident because I get too intrigued in what they're saying. So it's good. I can just mute myself and.
No, definitely. No, I can do the same as well because I get super excited to, just sort of, I guess, relate to the story and then want to say my story too. So it's like, wait, let them finish.
Oh, 100%. I'm exactly the same. I get like too involved, and I think people are just like, oh God, Sam. And I'm like, oh, no. No, I'm actually really intrigued in what you're saying. So it's good I can actually mute myself, so there's no option of me doing that. So did you want to continue on?
Yep, we can continue on.
All right. Sam muted.
Back in 1992, my mum had woken up in the middle of the night and she had seen a long-haired man wearing sandals on her bedroom wall. Now, she had never seen this man before. This particular man had a light-moving halo around him with red hair. So I guess the light was sort of pulsating around him as it was around him as well. She said he actually looked like Jesus. So, I mean, that's sort of what she could sort of relating to from, I guess, pictures of Jesus that she had grown up seeing. And after that, she had also seen this particular man another night, so within the same week. Now, not long after seeing this man, probably talking about a week or two, her close brother, Joe, had passed away in Malta. So this is where she feels she had, sort of been forewarned that something was about to happen. And, could have been also sort of a comfort thing as well with her relating to this man too, or looking like Jesus. So, that was a pretty amazing story as well that will always stick with me. So one night, and again, not long after my Uncle Joe passed, I had actually said a prayer to him in hope that he goes to heaven. That night I had a vivid dream. As I mentioned earlier, I am a vivid dreamer. And in the dream, my mum, my father, my brother and I were standing outside in a circle and all linked. And I remember in this particular dream, the sky was clear and there were thousands of stars. So thousands of stars as we were looking up. Now, while my family and I were still standing in this circle, I felt a small pain in my stomach, not sure why. But then I had seen my uncle's soul flying up into the sky. I'm back.
Oh, good. The last thing, the last
I'm back.
thing was
So
soul going.
Where we're at is
when the soul went up. Oh, what is going on?
Into heaven, up to heaven.
Yeah.
And I could actually hear him, with him actually saying, thank you for praying for him. So I still remember that dream quite vividly to now, and I truly believe it was his soul thanking me. So he came into my dream to say so and to show me that he was going to heaven as well. So that was pretty amazing. Another story related to my Uncle Joe is once again not long after he passed. My brother, my mother and I were sitting on her bed, and we were talking about him. We were saying how much we miss him and how much of a wonderful and generous man he was. The next minute, we hear the doorbell playing. Now, this doorbell was a doorbell that wasn't in use. My mum had stored into her wardrobe at the time. We had gone to check the doorbell, and once we found where it was stashed in her wardrobe, it stopped playing. Upon further inspection, it had no batteries in it. So we believe it was a sign from my uncle to let us know that he could hear us talking about him, which was quite amazing as well. Now, these days, my mum's in a nursing home, which she really loves. So the stories, if anything, have increased, being in an old aged care nursing facility. And I guess it comes as well when you're a bit more quiet and relaxed in your life. But one night she tells me how she had woken up and she could feel someone sleeping next to her. And she said it felt like a man's body. Now, she could feel his body under the covers next to her. And upon her opening her eyes and checking, there was nobody there. And related to this as well, my mum, tends to get woken up a lot with someone tapping her foot or her hand while sleeping. So definitely to get her attention.
Oh, the man sleeping net. How dare they think that they can just going on into bed with you and just be like,
I know.
she doesn't
I
know.
know.
Or he's really like some cheeky old bugger that's like, I'll just pinch your toe and stuff. It's like, go away.
It's exactly what it is.
Man,
100%.
even in death, they're like, look, I'll just sneak in there. I'll just try.
How rude.
But now I've actually got two questions for you. So you meant the forewarned, you said being forewarned quite a few times. And so that's usually via dreams or seeing, obviously, an apparition or something that.
Yeah.
Is it only after the fact that something's happened that you would recognize that it was like a forewarning?
Yes, especially I guess back then.
Yeah.
Whereas now I've sort of learnt that when I wake up from a dream, because of that vivid type of dream and I really, really feel it, I tend to go, oh, this potentially might mean something. So whether I keep it in mind or write it down, yeah. So back then, no, it was always after the fact. But these days I can sort of feel, oh, yeah, this feels different. It's not a normal dream, or why am I getting this feeling now?
Yeah, so you're just a bit more aware of the differences here. Because I remember when my grandfather
That's right.
passed away, so on my dad's side, I stayed over at their house and the funeral was the next day. And I remember having an incredibly vivid dream about my grandmother who had already passed away. And like the vivid dream, you just remember the colours. Like I'm pretty sure
Yes.
it's in colour anyway, but it's more, yeah, it's not just like, oh, they just pop in, you've just had like a memory dream or you've had a dream. Like that's actually it, and you don't forget seeing them. Sometimes I forget what the hell they've said to me. They probably gave me some great life advice and I've just gone off and done the opposite thing. But like
Yeah.
but yeah, you just and they stick in your head and you can remember them to this day. Like that's the difference rather than going, I think I had a dream about Nan the other day, but you can remember, like it's like, so you wake up and you're like, oh, you were there, like and you've got, yeah, that's like that lingers and you can still remember it. It's really special. So yeah, I can get those as well. I wish they were more often.
100%. 100%. Well, I tend to have them more often these days because I lost my dad over 20 years ago. So he pops into my dreams quite often. And I've learnt if in the dream we're arguing, usually that means the next day something's going to upset me. It could be at work or I'm going to have an argument with someone. So I've learnt if we're arguing in the dream, it's a forewarning. But then if in the dream I'm seeing him happy, beaming and smiling, then that's where, I mean, both dreams I feel they're visitations, but I've learned to know what's a warning and what's my dad, saying, hey, I'm here, hello, and visiting me.
Just doing the pop in, hey, but I'm seeing what you were doing at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
There's another question too.
Absolutely, especially if it's time you...
Yeah, so I've got quite an interesting question for you. So, and I hope you do not have to answer this at all because it can be, but something just struck me as quite, because I find people tend to be either spiritual or religious. So you have mentioned Jesus. I just want to know how has that worked for you combining the two? Because that's what I was raised a Christian, so I still have my beliefs in that, but however, I would classify myself as being more highly spiritual now. So like, how has that how would that have impacted, your mum being so spiritual and then, but also like, are you guys from a Catholic background or, yeah, sorry about the weird question, but I just struck me. I was like, just wanted to ask.
No, not at all. That's amazing. That is a really, really good question.
Yeah.
Actually, it lets me talk now. That is a very good question because my mum and my dad both grew up Catholic, as so did I. Now, with my mother being born literally Victory Day, World War II, so yes, she had her father who was quite gifted in her family, but yes, there was always that aspect of, oh, you're Catholic, you shouldn't be meddling with this stuff, tarot and all that. Now, growing up, I knew of that and my mum would mention it and sometimes we'll say, oh, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be, thinking of this, but I think because it's so strong for us, we know that it's part of us. So as I've grown up and I'm still a Catholic, this is what my feeling and understanding is, right? If God didn't want me to be this way, I wouldn't be. And God is not about fear and stopping you from doing stuff that's potentially going to help others. So, as much as I'm a Catholic, I take a lot from other religions as well. And my belief is if what you're doing is of good intent and you live a life that, you know, you're caring for your family and friends and have no ill intent against anyone, then you're doing what you're meant to do. And that's what God is. He would only stop me is if I had, you know, if I'm going to use the tarot cards, you know, to, you know, sort of trick someone or make them feel bad, then that's where I would like, no, that's not God, you know. But yeah, I believe I've incorporated in my life and yeah, I believe it's my purpose.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm sort of the same. I'm sitting going, yeah, like, you know, be like, oh God, no, that wouldn't, you know, that's not good. You can't do both at once. And no, I've merged the two. And I'll use, obviously, you know, if I'm really feeling like I need protection, then, you know, oh, Jesus will always be, you know, my
100%.
100%. But yeah, I feel like that too. There's so many people out there that either do have gifts or want to have gifts, or they just choose to do dark magic or dark things with bad intent.
Yep.
People. I have zero time for that. Like, and I'm not saying you can't dabble in darker stuff. Like, you know, I'll have a chat with some darkest. Like, you know, I go to dark places all the time, but I'm not there with a bad intent. And it's all about intention. And it's, yeah, there's been a few people that I've met that I'm just like, and I'm like, don't, karma comes back around. I'm like, what have what are you trying to do to someone else in that sort of spiritual way? I'm like, I can't see it not coming back and hitting you and biting you on the ass big time. So
100%. Yeah. Absolutely. I believe in karma and you know, like yourself, I do love to go and do ghost tours and investigations. Recently I've been to Beechworth Asylum and, you know, listening to your podcast as well, it's given me even more sort of you know, advice to go make sure you protect yourself before and after. Again, growing up without, you know, that sort of training and advice. It's more these days that we know, protect yourself, Talcott crystal, etc. But even when I was there with friends, and I'd always sort of set the intention to the spirits, look, I'm not here, I don't mean you any harm, no disrespect, just here to connect with you. And, you know, because you don't know if you're dealing with someone bad or good, you know, you don't know. So I'm always like, no, I'm not here for anything bad, just to connect with you.
Yeah, and be like, if you don't want me to be here too, make it known. I'm more than happy to leave you be. I don't want. I'm not coming around here, you know, trying to wreck you.
Absolutely.
And yeah, but no, that the protection afterwards is
absolutely.
Sorry, before, during, and after is very important. Just to also be very firm, be like, you ain't following me back. They like to do that occasionally. So if you're very firm, they'll be like, all right, just stay there. But no,
100%. I was, and you know, yeah, we do, and you know, so I've learned over the years, and yeah.
Oh, you're frozen again. This has been cheeky. It's funny because and it's not freezing for me now, but it's freezing for you. And it like swaps. You're back.
I'm back. Oh my goodness. This is the worst ever. Like, I've never had this much issues staying connected. So
is it like dropping out for you when it's dropping out for me, or can you still hear me and then you just drop out? Or am I gone?
Yeah.
Oh.
So you'll come, so it'll like Zoom will just shut down and restart by itself. You'll come back, it'll be a bit sketchy, and then I can start hearing you okay. So
yeah, I can just
like I said, I've used Zoom many times.
Yeah, because I can see myself and hear myself so clearly on here. I freeze, but you all of a sudden just will go blank. And I'm like, hello, it's weird. Yeah. All right, I'll shut up again. And but that was just my question I wanted to ask, because I'm thinking I think we're on the same page there, merging the two together. And with the intention, like, why would we have gifts or have this interest, we just wouldn't have it, like, especially if it's for good. So see now, all good. All right, cool. I'll mute.
100%. No worries. Thank you for that. So continuing on with my mum and her stories from a current aged care facility, there was one night she was asleep and she had woken up to see a lady near her bed wearing 60s clothing. And she said that the lady was just standing there and looking at her. Mum said to me that where normally the spirits she sees, they tend to disappear within a few seconds. But apparently with this lady, she just stayed there staring at her for at least 1 minute. So she found that quite interesting. And like a lot of people, we tend to see, hear or feel, I guess, the other side, whether we're just about to fall asleep or just about to wake up. And this is, again, something that I've learned along the way through listening to podcasts and reading. It's, we don't tend to just always see a spirit manifest in front of us. Generally, it is going to be in those situations where we're just relaxing, about to nod off or waking up. So even with my experiences, a lot of times if I hear or see or feel anything, if it's not happening in the dream, it's either as about to fall asleep and wake up. But going back to my mum's story, as she said, they usually tend to look at her and she'll see it but disappear really quickly. This particular, a woman that she doesn't recognise, really stayed there staring at her for, that 1 minute. It would have felt like an eternity to Mum, of course. But again, she doesn't hear them. So I think this is where, again, this is all natural to my mum. She hasn't had any training or anything like that. If anything, what I'm learning, I'm trying to teach her, because she said, I never hear them. So whether it's she's not clairaudient or needs to practice on that, she's always like, I just see them. And I'm like, look, they obviously want to connect with you because they can know you can see them. But she's seen my dad many times, or she had one situation where she could see a man's face within her third eye, but it's almost like this man was talking, but she couldn't hear him. And I go, oh my God, that might also be like channeling, a spirit. But because she's not trained to hear them or doesn't know how to, she just doesn't hear, but she could see them and they would stare at her. So, maybe that's something that may or may not develop for her. But yeah, she would always, would find that pretty interesting if she could actually hear them, hear what they're saying, see what they want to. And, I was thinking now, popped into my head, is maybe to tell her, look, set the intention, that you can receive messages in a safe, sort of in a safe way, and always of high intention and light, for example. So.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I've done a lot of research in this, and obviously I've tried to enhance my own abilities, and as time's gone on, I've gotten a lot better. Starting to trust myself a lot more with some different things. So the falling asleep and when you're awake, that used to happen to me as a child. So I'd hear like a hello really quickly in my ear, and I'd wake up and be like that kind of thing. And it's happened quite a few times. Or like I'm trying to fall asleep and I'd be like, no, I got something to say. And then I'll wake up and I'm like, hang on, I'm not in tune enough. But so obviously, so she'd see. So she's obviously very visual. Would she get any feelings alongside that? Even though she couldn't hear them, but like, could she feel what they wanted, or could she get a message across even in like an intuitive way?
Not necessarily. And again, she's probably not setting that intention or knows how to, because, it just comes to her, quite unexpectedly. It's a bit of I guess it's maybe a question that I need to probe her a bit about, so to speak. But it's never of any sort of bad feeling or anything like that. It's almost, like I said earlier, she could feel that they want to say something, but she's just not sure what. And then I guess compared to her experiences where she had been woken up with her father in her dream, waking her up, then she knows for a fact it's a forewarned. Whereas with these spirits, there's no bad feeling. She's just not sure exactly what they, want to tell her.
So yeah, I definitely because like I can get pictures in my mind of things. Like I'll be there and I'm like, hang on, I just got a really strong, like the other day I was talking to a friend and I literally was like, hang on, I was like, God, I'm like, grandmother, because I always get so scared to sort of say anything in case I'm wrong and people think that I'm insane. But like of late, I've been like getting stuff so right. I'm like, I've got like a really strong, vision of like, well, not a vision, but like in my head, it was like daffodils. And I was like, why the hell am I seeing daffodils? So I sort of asked, I was like, anything to do with your grandmother? And then, apparently the grandmother had passed from cancer. That would make sense, but she loved her garden. So it was like so he's like, they were like, that could work in a lot of different ways. And that could just be like a random thing. It could just be a coincidence. It could just be luck. But I also get sometimes, the thoughts that come in so quick about things, I tend to, how you said that you end up writing like a 4-page email and you're like, how the hell where'd that come from? Like I literally was doing that the other night. The text I was sending were like so quick and so fast because it comes in so much quicker than you can think. Like you couldn't make it up that quick. Like it's bizarre. So like I can't hear the person's voice, but you can kind of pick up their essence and it's like your own thoughts, but it comes so quickly. Is that similar to sort of like what you experience? Yeah. It's really weird because
absolutely
I'm hearing voices or things like, no, you don't. It's your own thoughts, but they're not, it's hard to explain, but they're not yours, but they're trying to tell you stuff, but it's coming through, and it's so quick, like really fast. I couldn't make this up this quick if I tried, like, and especially getting certain,
100%. 100%, even though, because I've been trying to connect more to my spirit guides. Sorry to interrupt you. It was just breaking up there. So I've been trying to connect more to my spirit guides as of late. And this week, very randomly, I'm just getting changed in my room. And I heard a voice in my head say, Michelle is the voice to 1,000 people. And I'm like, okay, what are you trying to tell me? Am I going to help 1,000 people? Am I going to be speaking somewhere? Yeah, I'm the voice of 1,000 people. And I really got that impression of I've been told, I could help a lot of people. So, but again, Michelle's the voice to 1,000 people, apparently.
That's so cool. I've had something similar happen. Yeah, because I was like, what? Why the hell am I on this fucking planet for? Like, what is my purpose in this shit? Like, it's like,
I ask that a lot. Other than, everyday life and family, like I know that's my purpose too, but I do know because of, everything I feel and how I grew up that there is something that I need to do. It's just trying to get it right and do it.
There's a greater reason. I'm just like, what is this? And I keep thinking like, I had this thought one night that was like, hang on, I'm not like giving a voice to people because it's got nothing to do with me. It's more bumping up the volume, on people that have had their voice taken or that have been silenced. So it's not like I'm giving them something like, I'm not, it's like a non, what do you call it? It's like I'm trying to think of the right word to use. It's like a not narcissistic thing, but it's like a I'm not good. I'm giving it to you. I'm just helping you bump the volume up. You know what I mean? And I think that that's similar with you too. Like, obviously they've all got their own voice, but you're probably helping them just get it out. Like, actually just having people hear them. And so that's sort of.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You see.
Yeah, great.
100%. And look, I'll tell you now, my mum is excited, beyond excited, that I am here and you've given me the opportunity to tell her stories for other people to hear it. She can't wait to hear this podcast. Like, she's like, oh my God, I'm so happy that you're getting my stories out there.
Oh wow, that makes you so. Oh, that makes me really. And that's so bizarre. That, like, we were just talking about that. Yeah, like that's what and I'm very, very proud of myself. I don't even think I've sworn once on this, so she can be. I don't want to offend you, Mum. It's like, who is this for?
Oh, look.
I don't even think I've sworn once. I've been very
No.
very ladylike. So,
no. Look, my mum's got a really good sense of humour. So, she'll giggle at it because I've told her, about your podcast, and I just say, how relaxed it is and how funny you are. And, my mum's 80 years old, so I've been trying to get her connected. She has a tablet and she communicates through it, but I've been trying to get her to listen to podcasts as well, because I keep on saying, I hear these stories and it's like you telling me your stories. So now you've got the time, you should sit and listen to this podcast and get that feeling of, because she always feels like she's from another planet. She used to, growing up, she'd be like, oh, I'm sure I'm an alien or something, and I'm like, yeah, probably, we used to laugh at her, but so she's very grateful, that you're hearing her stories through me, and others will as well.
Well, that's made me very, very, very happy. And I'm just, oh no, that's good. But so that's the thing as well. Yes, I swear a lot, but it's always with good intention. I'm never swearing at somebody or
100%.
nasty with it. It's like it'll just come out in like conversation. I'm not calling someone, and it's never actually the intention's never nasty. So it's just always just like, oh, I just got bad vocabulary, I think, at times. But
no, that's fine. And
you've got emotions, you have to get them out. Sometimes this is normal.
Oh, 100%.
Don't cut it. So
100%. And it's obviously at work I'm not going to sit there and swear and this and that, but I find it funny sometimes. We've got this other side of us, our actual natural side, which is pretty funny, and it doesn't have to be all prim and proper all the time, and again, it's always of good intention, so you're not going to hurt anybody. If anything, give them a giggle.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, I think it was like, because I remember there was one person who put a comment on one of my things and was like, oh, people these days with like, such a lack of intelligence swearing that much. And I'm just like, I was like, you've listened to one episode, and I'm just like, lack of intelligence. I'm like, mate, I've sat here and created a podcast out of nothing, completely all by myself, learned how to do this. If I say the F word on it, I think I've heard that right. I'm just like, I've done a
100%.
I'm like, mate. And I was like, chill out, Grandma. Like, because it was like some lady, she was, anyway, I think her idol name was like something like Granny something. And I was like, why are you listening to this for? So hence why I put the disclaimer on everything, because I'm like, no, people know what they're getting into. And if they don't like it, they don't have to participate or listen. Yes. So...
Well, that's true. It's true. And your disclaimer's pretty funny. I love it how you end it with, you get to hear my voice very close to your ear, when you're, make sure you're listening with the headphones. That's if they're going. No, totally. Because your podcast is my walking buddy. So when I go for my walks, that's when I listen, because I'm out at nature. And I'm probably walking and laughing at you, swearing at something, or I start to imagine you in these, when you do your tours, I've got this picture in my head, and then you'll say something and I'll just piss myself laughing out loud.
Oh, yeah, no.
Hilarious.
I love to have fun.
As I said, I really enjoy listening to you and your stories.
Oh, no, that's good. I love to have fun with this stuff. And as I said, the intention's always great. I'm always respectful. Try and be as respectful as I possibly can. So I hope 100%. And if I ever offend anyone, I'm like, just tell me. I'll be like, sorry, that's not my... Cheeky, it's back. You're back.
I'm back. Look, I've got so many stories. I could write a book. I probably should do that one day. But considering, time for yourself and all that, I'm happy to tell one more story, which is mine.
Cool.
And and then we can finish up. So one day I was coming home from work, and there was definitely nobody home, because at the time we hadn't had my son, and my husband was working, and he always comes home after me. So this particular day I had walked to my front door with the keys, ready to put the key into the lock, which I did, to turn it. And at this particular time, what I felt and heard, it was as if someone was in the house coming towards the door to open the door for me. And I kind of froze, going, what the hell? This can't be right. My husband's car's not home. My body's home. It's just my husband and I that live there. And because I felt it so strong, I just didn't have the courage to open the door. I just thought, I don't know what I'm going to see here. So I've called my husband and I explained to him what happened. Now, my husband's a complete non-believer, but he believes in me, which I truly appreciate. And he's like, you know what? At the time, we had friends living 2 doors down. He goes, just go knock on their door, see if the husband is home, and you can let him in to do a check of the house. So I went to our friend's house next door. Luckily, he was there. He came, opened the door, did a check of the house, and there was nothing. Now, I wholeheartedly, 110 million%, I could feel and hear someone walking to the door. It felt like a male. And as I'm turning the key to the door, trying to open, I could feel that person or whoever it was on the other side. So much so that I had to call my husband and I had to get the house checked. Now, of course, there was nothing there, but I still feel that energy and that feeling like as if it happened yesterday and it happened over 12 years ago.
Wow. What do you think it was?
It's funny because I often thought about it. Maybe it could have been my father coming to the door to greet me. It could be maybe a particular spirit that might reside in the house. It's a bit hard to tell because, like for me, it was more like I could feel so strongly that someone was there and nothing in particular happened before or after. It's just, it happened to me and I felt it so strongly. I couldn't go into the house by myself.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
Because you don't know what it was. Like there could have been someone in there that had managed to get out before. How do you know? Like, they might have
Absolutely.
out before you actually got
Absolutely.
someone to come and check. So they might have been, so you might have actually had someone go, hang on, not yet. Who knows? Like it's it's bizarre.
Absolutely.
Absolutely anything. So you just don't know. So it's but you definitely as I said, you guys are like awesome cats. Heaps of lives. I love it.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So I've got so many more stories and I look forward hopefully to one day sharing them with you, to share with the greater audience because, where so many times we sit there and feel like, does this happen just to me?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not.
Actually this, like, is this actually really real? And I just sit there, I'm like Googling, I'm like, is this a thing? Like, or is this, have I really lost it? Like, but thank you so much for being a guest on my podcast. So I'm hoping
you're very welcome. No rush from my end. Thank you for the opportunity. Love your podcast and great to talk to you. And I'll be in touch again. We'll arrange if you want another time and I'll tell you some more stories.
100%. Thank you so much, Michelle. I'll talk to you soon.
You're welcome. Have a good weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that brings us to the end of episode 47, Campfire Tales with my wonderful listener, Michelle. I'd just like to say thank you so much to Michelle and to her beautiful mother that were very willing to give me their spiritual experiences. And I admire them both so much to be able to link religion also with spirituality because, as I've said earlier, it's very hard to connect the two. The two seem to kind of be, it's like, oh, you can't do that because it's bizarre. It's like a very weird kind of thing. But I think if you can manage it, beautiful. So I really look forward to speaking to you again, Michelle. And please, anytime, more than happy But if you would like to appear on my podcast, please email me at aussieafterlife@outlook.com, or even reach me via my Instagram or my TikTok, Aussie Afterlife. I am very responsive, more than happy to talk to anyone about anything. I don't care what your story is, big, small, whatever. Please, please, please. I love this stuff. And I've got so much content. So I'm really sorry if you guys have sent me in some stories, or I've got a bit of a backlog actually for the first time ever. So I'm just desperately trying to get through everything. So please don't think I'm ignoring you. If you've there's a few of you that have sent me some amazing stories, and I cannot wait. So I'm really looking forward to doing another Sam retail story kind of thing. But yeah, please don't think I'm ignoring you at all. Just got a bit of a backlog. And yeah, lovely Michelle has been very, very, very patient with me because I've cancelled last time because I was unwell. So, today was great, fantastic. And yeah, please keep a lookout for anything that I'm up to, anything I'm doing, follow, whatever. I'm working on also getting my Patreon up and sorted. So, and obviously, there is no pressure for the Patreon. It'll solely just be something I might be able to give you a bit extra, and also to be able to help me go to more places, do more investigations, do a bit more stuff. But I will always still be free to listen on Spotify and everywhere else. But yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great week and be safe. Goodbye.